Be ready. 5 seconds.
I was one of many children, a short boy born to tall and handsome parents. We lived in our ancestral house, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. It was a fairly large Pakka house made of limestone and brick. My father used to avoid all comforts and luxuries. However, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. The Second World War broke out when I was 8 years old. For reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. My brother in law would tell me stories about the war, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines. Our area, being isolated, was completely unaffected by the war. But soon India was forced to join the Allied forces, and something like a state of emergency was declared. The first casualty came in the form of the suspension of the train halt. The newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train. That forced my cousin, who distributed newspapers, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and as if naturally, I filled the slot. It helped me earn my first wages. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. I inherited honesty and self discipline from my father. From my mother, I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did my 3 brothers and sister. I had 3 close friends in my childhood. All these boys were from Orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. As children, none of us ever felt any difference amongst ourselves because of our religious differences and upbringing. During the annual Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site situated in the middle of the pond near our house. Events from the Ramayana and from the life of the Prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. One day, when I was in the fifth standard, a new teacher came to our class. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim, and I always sat in the front row next to Shastri, who wore the sacred thread. The new teacher could not stomach a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. I was asked to go and sit on the back bench. I felt very sad, and so did Shastri. The image of him weeping when I shifted to the last row left a lasting impression on me. After school, we went home and told our respective parents about the incident.